Introduction. Not all diets are equal. Known for contributing to weight loss through high fats and low carb, the keto diet has been around longer than some of the people following the diet, but it has spiked in popularity over the last couple of years. There are countless diets and weight loss fads that come and go over the years, some with little weight to their promise of lost pounds. It can be overwhelming to not only choose a diet that has more pros than cons, but also one that works for your individual needs and circumstances. Not all diets are created equal, just as not all people are created the same. Each of our body's needs vary depending on age, current health, allergies, exercise regimens, etc. Just as some people are fighting diseases, autoimmune disorders, may be pregnant, or any other number of variations of different circumstances. Diets come and go, but the ones that are proven effective will beat the test of time. Although the keto diet faded in popularity years after it became well known, it is back now with a soaring popularity and a myriad of followers who are claiming great success without feeling like they are missing out on anything. What is it about the keto diet that has given those who follow it such great success? And when did this booming diet trend really begin? History of the keto diet. Most may be surprised to learn that the keto diet has been around since the 1920s. It's bizarre to think that a modern-day diet that is brand new for so many people has actually been around for over 100 years. If that perspective isn't odd enough, considering why the ketogenic diet was created makes it even more fascinating and brilliant. In the early 1900s, before the introduction of the ketogenic diet, there was the ideology that those who suffered from epilepsy should be made to fast to help eliminate the epileptic seizures. A Greek physician, Claudium Galenus, believed that having a patient fast as well as having a rationed portion of food would help with mild epilepsy, at least. This may have been a bit misguided, as a trial held in France in 1911 saw 20 patients with these same dietary restrictions, but only 2 benefited, while the other 18 had no decrease in their seizures. The participants did display cognitive improvement with a clearer mind as a result of the decreased food ingestion, but this could have also been due to the fact that these patients were taken off of their medication, potassium bromide, which had a tendency to significantly dull brain function. In the following years, many doctors began to complete variations of a low-carbohydrate or a starch or sugar-free diet. The results of these various diets all matched the former ones with mediocre results. But there was a promise to the science behind them. Doctors had seen some patients benefit from fasting, others from lowered sugar content. Then, in 1921, a doctor by the name of Russell Wilder addressed the fact that allowing a child to fast was not a good idea. In subsequent research and trials, Russell Wilder discovered an option to fasting that provided similar results. By eating a diet that consisted of low carbohydrates, no sugars, and high fat, he found that children suffering from epilepsy experienced a positive response and suffered less seizures. For years afterward, this diet was used to help children in pediatric wards who suffered from epilepsy, and the ketogenic diet was born. There was a halt in the popularity of the diet as there were breakthrough drugs that came about in 1930. Patients who had epilepsy were able to swallow a pill and didn't have to worry about following a restrictive diet. The anticonvulsant medication became the optimal choice, and the keto diet was no longer the choice of doctors. Knowing where the ketogenic diet came from doesn't tell the whole story. There is much more to the diet than simply cutting carbs and sugar. What is the keto diet? The ketogenic diet is based on science and features a low carbohydrate, moderate protein, high fat diet. But to truly understand the basics of the keto diet, you need to understand ketosis and how it works. Ketosis is defined as a metabolic state that your body enters in order for it to use fat as fuel rather than using carbs for the same reason. Ordinarily, the body uses sugar for energy within the cells. But when you reduce the number of carbohydrates that create this glucose, the body is starved of its energy source, so it has to rely on using fat for the same purpose. Limiting your carbohydrates to between 20 to 50 grams each day and increasing your fat consumption through eating fish, meat, nuts, eggs, and other healthy fats, you are likely to enter ketosis. There is much more to learn about this highly effective diet and how to ensure that your chances of success are greatly increased. It seems impossible to lose weight by committing to a high-fat diet, but it's been proven to work time and time again for millions of people through a variety of ways. There are as many cons to the keto diet as there are pros. As a mother with a busy schedule and even busier boys, I've been able to stick to this diet and have great success. I've gone through trials and research, delved into science-based context, and read doctors' opinions and research papers to come up with my own opinions and tricks to ensure success on the keto diet. The greatest research I can offer is my own experience, since I have had tremendous success after 10 months on the keto diet and having lost 45 pounds. I am a mom of 2 active boys, and I go to college as well as work at a law firm. The keto diet has not only given me a second lease on a body that is not weighed down with unhealthy fat, but it has given me the energy to see myself through college and my boys through their active childhood. I was excited to try to diet, but knew of the strict guidelines and food restrictions that I would be subject to. It was not a decision made lightly, since I understood that committing to the diet was to completely change the way I ate. In the beginning, I worried that I wouldn't have the time to do a diet that took so many food options off the table. But my creative juices flowed, and I found it not only manageable as a busy mom and college student, but I found that it helped to have rigid guidelines to adhere to. With much research, I can easily pre-plan meals for the week and see to it that my family eats healthy and that I have what I need to not only get through the day, but feel accomplished and happy at the end of it. If a busy mom and college student can do the keto diet and stick to a budget, then anyone can. I will do my best to pass on what I have learned about this diet, how to buy food on a budget, and what to really expect from the keto diet. Chapter 1. The Skinny on the High-Fat Diet. While the history of the ketogenic diet was to help adolescents who suffered from epileptic seizures, it gained popularity for the health benefits and fat loss it provided for people, making a comeback in the 70s. There have been several low-carb diets over the decades, but people tend to report more success on the keto diet because it is strict in the boundaries of what you can eat, the carbs you consume, and the fat you intake. The keto diet has a strict limit to the foods you can eat, all of which must not exceed 50 grams of carbohydrates in a single day. If you are active with exercising, then you can get away with eating carbs on the higher end of the scale. But if you are not the athletic type, sticking to 30 grams of carbohydrates will help you reach your fat loss goal. Many followers of the keto diet have benefited from extreme weight loss in a very short period of time, which is curious because of the high fat intake. Without the ingestion of carbs, your body will burn the fat that it has gained and use it as a form of energy, which causes weight loss, occurring when your body enters ketosis. When there are few carbohydrates for the body to utilize, it will convert the fat to ketones that the body will then use for fuel. Ketosis may be a very new word, and it can be hard to know when you've actually reached a state of ketosis. There are some ways that will let you know whether you have reached a state of ketosis or still have a ways to go. How to know if you are in ketosis. You know that the goal of the keto diet is to enter ketosis, but how do you know whether you are in ketosis or not? Believe it or not, there are some signs, and not all of them are pleasant or welcome. Number 1. Bad breath. When acetone is released with the breakdown of fat that occurs during the keto diet, a sweet or foul smell is released. Acetones can be released through breath or through urine, which, luckily, doesn't last forever, and it is something to celebrate since it means you are set to achieve your goals. So pop a calorie-free breath mint in your mouth and wait it out. You can even purchase an acetone breath analyzer if you want to find out for sure what your acetone levels are. Number 2. Ketone levels in blood. Believe it or not, you don't have to go to the doctor to find out if you have ketone levels in your blood. You can buy a ketone blood meter kit, and if it comes out between 0.5 to 3 millimoles per liter, you've reached the optimal ketosis range. Number 3, ketones in urine. You can test your own urine at home with indicator strips to see if there are higher levels of ketones in your urine. Number 4, loss of weight. Significant weight loss is going to be a clear indication that you have reached a state of ketosis and that your body is burning fat efficiently. The weight loss will even out after the first week and will continue, but on a more consistent basis if the diet is followed to the letter. Number 5, reduced appetite. What could be better while losing weight than having a reduced appetite? Well, that is exactly what is likely to happen on the keto diet. Ghrelin is a hormone that the stomach produces and is responsible for increasing the appetite. Some evidence suggests that the keto diet helps reduce the ghrelin hormone, therefore reducing the appetite. Number 6, fatigue. It is not uncommon for the body to experience fatigue since it's adjusting to a new way of utilizing an energy source, from glucose to using fat, and the body can respond in an unfavorable way. This is temporary, but it's also the reason that many people give up on the keto diet before it has had a chance to work for them. Number 7, more focus on energy. On the flip side, some people have an increase of energy and find their focus is sharp because their body is producing ketone, which gives the brain a great boost of vivacity. It may not be a religious experience, but the keto diet can bring clarity and help sharpen the mind. Number 8, decreased athletic performance. Just as fatigue can occur as the body adjusts to using ketones for energy, an athlete can experience decreased performance through fatigue and may be tempted to quit the diet altogether. It is only temporary, and energy will return once the body is used to utilizing the new energy source. It's worth noting that more fat can be burned through exercise on a keto diet than on a regular diet. Number 9, trouble sleeping. As with fatigue and decreased athletic performance, insomnia is a common but temporary issue caused by the keto diet as your body adjusts to the difference in diet. Most people actually have improved sleep after a time on the keto diet, so if lack of sleep is an issue for you at the beginning, you might want to hold off before throwing in the towel. Number 10, problems with digestion. Digestive issues can be a common issue when beginning the keto diet and for the same reason as most of the uncommon side effects, but as with the other unpleasant side effects, it's temporary. Your body may experience constipation or diarrhea as a result of the diet that it is getting used to digesting. Be patient and stick with it. How does keto measure up? There are many diets that cut carbs to help with weight reduction and fat loss. How does the keto diet compare to these other low-carb diets? Since the consumption of carbohydrates is between 20 to 50 grams each day, this is a rewarding but extremely challenging diet to maintain. If this diet is successfully followed, it rewards those who commit to it with a great amount of fat loss within the first few weeks of beginning the diet. If the one following the diet does not exercise in addition to committing to the diet, or if they do not stick to the lower side of carb consumption, it could take as much as 6 months to see a notable difference. Since this diet does require a high-fat intake, it is recommended that you see a doctor before beginning so that you can talk about the potential risks of the diet. The knowledge behind the diet. We know that there is science backing the keto diet dating back to the 1920s, and that the research has held fast through to today that the diet has had a positive effect on those who suffer from epilepsy. But what other scientific facts are behind this popular and effective diet? We also know that ketone bodies are the fuel that drives us when we are running low on glucose. It usually takes days of not eating before your body enters ketosis and uses fat molecules for energy, which means fat burning. As science has shown, you don't need to go without in order to enter a state of ketosis. More easily, you just need to cut drastically on carbs and let the body run out of it to use as energy. By cutting the glucose, your brain needs to dip into ketone bodies in order to keep on going. By turning metabolism into ketosis, your body burns great amounts of fat, so even though the keto diet is high in fat, it doesn't just stick around in your body. The truth is there are several other ketogenic diets that take turns being the next weight loss trend. In a nutshell, the keto diet works by stripping the body of sugar or glucose. This bare fact might seem confusing since glucose provides energy to the entirety of the body's cells. Glucose is produced from the consumption of carbs. The brain is incapable of maintaining a supply of glucose and needs to be fueled constantly with the consumption of between 120 to 150 grams daily. As we rest or fast, the body uses the glucose that has been consumed and stored to use as energy. If the body runs out of glucose to use as energy, it will access the body's fat reserves instead. When the body dips into our fat reserves for energy, it causes the liver to generate ketone bodies that will then replace glucose as the body's energy fuel. With a continual and long period of ketone bodies being created, ketosis happens, which is the main goal of the keto diet. Ketosis will usually occur after about 2 days, depending on the intensity of your physical activity, as well as the level of calories you consume. Your body type and genetic makeup must also be taken into account when determining the length of time it will take for the body to enter ketosis. As with any diet, it will take a bit of time for results to become noticeable from the keto diet. And while it takes a number of months to see great results from this diet, there are some benefits that will happen in a relatively short period of time. Weight loss, insulin levels lower, blood pressure lowers, cholesterol levels lower, type 2 diabetes marker may be lower. The keto diet is a strict diet that needs to be followed diligently and should be entered into only if you are willing to be dedicated to the process 100%. Some of the strict regulations are: stick to an extremely high-fat diet that has you consuming up to 90% fat and no less than 80% in your diet in order to enter and maintain ketosis. Keep your protein intake moderate at about 20% of your diet, since excessive protein is likely to become glucose. Carbohydrate intake needs to remain between 20 to 50 grams per day. The lower the intake, the quicker you will enter ketosis. Maintaining a low-carb intake needs to be recognized for the challenge that it is while on the keto diet. For example, a banana contains 23 grams of carbs and 1 carrot has about 10 grams of carbs. These two foods are not on the keto approved list for this reason, as well as several other foods that you may ordinarily think of as harmless. Fatty food and weight loss. On the keto diet, you need to think of your body like a car. A car needs gas to burn fuel, and the keto diet needs fat to burn in order to produce the energy we run on. There are different types of fat that many people want to get rid of, whether off of the thighs, arms, but most commonly the stomach is most likely to be the target area when one starts a diet. Visceral fat is the fat that is in your abdomen, and it can be detrimental to your health and even deadly. Visceral fat can cause damage to your organs by encasing them, and it is also the fat that is linked to heart attacks, strokes, and type 2 diabetes. While the keto diet is great for reducing stomach fat, it is not a guarantee that the visceral fat will be the first to go. That depends on your body and how it distributes and loses fat. While some people can thank their gene pool for the fat that keeps their middle soft, it is most likely caused by a diet that is rich in sugar and high in carbs. Visceral fat may be easier to lose on the keto diet because it has anti-inflammatory effects, and visceral fat tends to be as stubborn as unwelcome fat comes. As mentioned, the keto diet will work well with eliminating fat when it is practiced in conjunction with other high-intensity workouts or vigorous exercises, such as challenging hikes, kayaking, cycling, or other forms of exercise that work up a good sweat for about 45 to 60 minutes. Fat loss is going to occur from exercise after the body has been in motion. The more intense, the better. For 15 to 20 minutes when it begins to burn a larger amount of fat to induce energy. How to minimize side effects. The keto diet is going to work well for most people, but there are some that may have difficulty due to health concerns or simply because it is the beginning of the diet and the body is becoming accustomed to different foods in higher or lower quantities. While your body adjusts, even a healthy person can experience flu-like symptoms, and all this is referred to as the keto flu. There are some ways that you can reduce the risk of having these negative and uncomfortable side effects, including building up to the keto diet limited menu. You could ease into the diet by cutting carbs over a period of 2 weeks before completely shutting them down to the 5% that you will be allowed once the stricter diet is begun. You can also add more salt to your diet to replenish the mineral balance that can be offset by the keto diet. By adding a bit of salt to food, you should be restoring the balance and giving yourself more energy, but a mineral supplement is also available. A good balance to add to your diet would be 3,000 milligrams of sodium, 100 milligrams potassium, 300 milligrams magnesium. Once you elevate these 3 minerals in your diet, you should feel less fatigued, have less headaches and muscle cramps, and feel a lot more energetic in general. If you are still feeling tired, you may want to tweak your diet a bit by adding a few more carbs or protein, or even fat intake. Often when people begin the keto diet, they starve themselves of protein and have a carb count that is too low because they want to enter ketosis quickly, or they may be afraid to consume 80% of fat intake. Remember that everyone has a different routine, exercise regimen, and body type, so the diet is going to need to be adjusted based on you specifically. The rules of reaching ketosis apply to everyone, but the equation of food, protein, fat, and carbs needs to be designated to each individual. Just like your mama told you, no two people are alike. Not a quick fix. Since keto is such a regimented diet, it's important that you know what you're getting into, and it's also good to note that it is not a quick fix. If you are really ready to commit to the keto diet, then you need to understand the drawbacks as well as the benefits. You also need to prepare yourself for buckling down and going without some of your favorite foods, and results still may not be evident for a month or more. If you decide to go off the diet and back to your old habits, then you need to be prepared to gain back all the weight you lost and then some. If you are ready to settle onto the wagon and go for the long haul, then there are some strategies to help you get fantastic results over a long period of time that go beyond your food choices. You may find that you are not getting the nutrients you need from food alone, especially if you are on a vegetarian diet or a diet that restricts you from eating meat. Take vitamin supplements to ensure you are getting what you need for your body to maintain the energy and nutrients it needs, including anti-inflammatory options. Being successful on the keto diet is more than sticking to the food, but also includes getting plenty of exercise and maintaining a calm environment and getting plenty of sleep. By maintaining a healthy mindset, you will be giving your body a better chance to succeed and achieve and maintain weight loss. Some things you can do to enhance your keto experience are: do yoga or visit a chiropractor to help align your body and prevent additional stress on your system. Prioritize sleep and allowing yourself time to meditate to reset your mind and avoid becoming anxious. Exercise plenty so that your oxygen levels are increased, which will help you feel better, sleep more soundly, and support lean muscle mass. Avoid toxins, including cigarettes. The keto diet isn't for everyone. If you can't get into the groove of sticking to the foods and managing your budget accordingly, you may need to rethink if this diet is right for you. It does take a couple of weeks to get into the habit of a specific way of eating, but if you find that after a month you are still struggling and are not happy, consider other options. Chapter 2: Fat is the New Skinny. How the Keto Diet Really Works. The keto diet will be reviewed and dissected in great detail throughout this book. What you need to know off the top is that it's a difficult diet to follow because it does have strict guidelines, and it has limited food options that some may not be willing to abide by. If you are one of the willing, you will be feeding your body a high-fat, low-carb diet that will utilize the fat reserve from your body to gain fuel once all of the glucose reserves are depleted. The fat that you are consuming on a daily basis will not linger in your belly or back like the glucose reserves from processed foods. The fat you consume will be used as fast as you consume it, providing you stick to the amount that is appropriate for your body type, age, and activity level. The skinnier you become will all be up to your activity level and the fats you choose to put into your body. Fatty foods and weight loss. When you are feeding your body a high-fat, low-carb diet, you are not giving it the glucose that it usually uses for energy. Therefore, it dips into the fat reserves for energy. When fat is used as fuel for the body, you will see weight loss, especially in the first week or so before it starts to level off. The idea is not to eat all of the foods that will make you fat either. Eating chocolate bars, potato chips, and other processed foods that hold little to no nutritional value are off limits. When you eat a high percentage of fats on the keto diet, you are eating healthy fats from foods that fuel your body by giving you vitamins and minerals. Keep your food choices to meats, fatty fish, and other foods that are high in fat that fuels pure energy, not a processed sugar fix that will give you a short burst of energy and then let you fall suddenly. Keto cycling. The keto diet may provide quick results, especially over the first week or two of a very strict low-carb count, but it is not a one-and-done situation. You can see results quickly, but if you stop eating along the strict guidelines of the keto diet and go back to your old ways, the weight will pile back on with a vengeance. There are those who lose the weight they want and then go back on the keto diet when they feel they have put a few too many pounds back on. But here are simpler ways to do it if you don't want to commit to a lifetime or even years of following the diet, such as keto cycling. Keto cycling is simply taking a day or two off the diet, then going back on. Some doctors recommend sticking to the strict keto diet for 1 to 3 months, then moving on to a different, easier to follow diet or transition to keto cycling. When someone is keto cycling, there is no set period of time that they need to go by. Some people choose to only take a break from the diet for 1 day a week, while others will choose to do keto for 3 weeks, then take a week off. Having said that, it is not recommended that you take more of a 2-day break from keto, or you risk throwing away the whole process of ketosis. If you do stray longer, you will most likely get back to ketosis relatively quickly. For the days that you are going to go off the keto diet, make sure you stick to healthier carb options and try not to indulge in sugary snacks or alcohol. Sticking to an exercise routine is also key to avoid piling on the pounds. There are some risks with keto cycling that include confusing your body so that it stores fat obsessively on the days that you are on keto, because it is used to getting fat on the off days, which could result in a higher level of cholesterol and triglycerides. Weighing the possible effects of keto cycling with the positive results that many have had on this type of diet break is up to you. Some have found that going off of the diet for a day each week or 2 days every 2 weeks really helps them stay on track. Whatever you decide, try the keto diet in all its strict glory for at least a month or 2 before you consider softening it up in any way. It's best to get used to the regimen of keeping the diet, getting into an exercise routine, and see the benefits of the keto way before you try to loosen it up. Chapter 3: Keto Diet on a College Student Budget. It is no secret that choosing to eat healthy often comes with a hefty grocery bill. Foods that are on the approved list for the keto diet can be costly, such as berries, meat, fish, and some vegetables. Eating healthy has always been more of a financial burden than eating sugary or high-carb snacks. When you are dedicated to following the keto diet, even if it's just for months at a time, there is a way to do it. Even if you are on a college student budget, which is one of the tightest budgets one can be on. There are many tips and tricks that can be used to stay on task and on budget, while choosing foods that will make your ketogenic diet successful, while also helping you maintain a mild level of protein that is needed to maintain literally every cell of your complex body. 1. Add the right vegetables. Maintaining high levels of fat and watching your proteins is incredibly crucial to the success of the keto diet, but you also need to add your vegetables. There are many vegetables that can add to your meal without supplying an influx of carbohydrates. Avocados are one of the most versatile vegetables there are, and luckily, is one of the accepted veggies on the keto diet. Avocados are full of essential vitamins and offer a great amount of benefits to your health, such as lowering your blood pressure, keeping your eyes healthy, lowering cholesterol levels, fighting against cancer, aiding in proper fetal development, promoting cardiovascular health, helping ease arthritis pain and development, helping prevent diabetes, is good for the complexion, aiding in nutrient absorption, and helping with weight loss. Spinach is another power vegetable that contains numerous vitamins and minerals. One of the most incredible benefits of spinach is something that all of us heard about from Popeye. It helps with muscle development, even without going to the gym. While your arms won't look like the cheerful sailor, your muscles will be developing if you keep a diet high in this dark green leaf. Spinach also helps prevent ulcers, aids in vision, is full of iron, great for weight loss, provides a great amount of antioxidants, relieves arthritis pain, and keeps hair healthy. Asparagus has a magnitude of health benefits as well, including cancer prevention, prevents UTI infections, promotes weight loss, helps heal wounds, provides iron, improves skin health, has anti-inflammatory benefits, and can even help improve your mood. There are other approved vegetables on the keto diet list that help aid in weight loss, either through metabolic properties or through adding weight to your meal that will fill your stomach but not add unwanted carbs or calories to your plate. Broccoli, cauliflower, green beans, cucumber, cabbage, kale, eggplant, olives, lettuce, tomatoes, and peppers should all be added to your shopping list. One of the last veggies that will not only add nutrients and vitamins to your meal, but will help add substance to many dishes is zucchini. At only 3 grams of carbs per cup, zucchini adds flavor and texture to a meal, and can even double as pasta. Zucchini is rich in antioxidants and helps reduce blood sugar, to name a couple of the health benefits it can offer. As a special treat, adding the next vegetable is a little bit of a cheat on the keto diet, but can be overlooked once in a while. One of the most delicious alternatives to pasta is spaghetti squash, which accounts for 8 carbs per cup. So while it can add up if eaten in excess, it's a great alternative to regular pasta, and when you want to enjoy a classic fall meal if consumed on occasion. Number 2, add heart-healthy protein. One food item that is high in protein and low in cost are beans, and buying them in bulk makes them even more affordable. There are some beans, however, that are far too high in carbohydrates for them to be suitable for the keto diet, but there are some beans that offer lower carbs. Chickpeas, black beans, navy beans, kidney beans, black-eyed peas, pinto beans, lentils, and great northern beans are higher in carbs, while green beans and black soybeans are low in carbs. Number 3, frozen berries over fresh berries for the save. There is much misinformation surrounding frozen berries and that most people think they are less nutritious than their fresh counterparts, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Unless you are eating berries directly from the bush, you are not getting the freshest berries you can find. The truth is that from the moment a berry is plucked from its vine or plant, its nutrients begin to deplete. The berries that you see at the grocery store have likely been sitting there for at least a couple of days, and that's not including the time it takes for the fruits to get to the market, and have lost a greater amount of nutrients than the frozen berries you will find in the same supermarket or grocery store. When a berry is frozen directly after being harvested, it keeps the great majority of the nutrients, so when you eat them, you are rewarded with the full benefit. Freezing after harvest also means that the fruit will not over-ripen and will be frozen in their best and most vitamin-rich form. In addition, the frozen berries and fruits will have zero additives because they need nothing but the freezer to make sure they do not spoil. You should always avoid buying any fruit that has something added to it. Having frozen berries on hand also means that you can add them to a variety of dishes without having to worry about rushing to the market. They are perfect to add to smoothies, salads, cereal, use in sauces, as a little extra flavor to water, and so much more. Number 4, organic, free-range, and grass-fed. Oh my! It is a nice goal to try to buy free-range and grass-fed meat only and organic produce, but that isn't always something that one on a tight budget can manage. While many who are dedicated to the keto diet only eat organic, free-range, and grass-fed foods, they are expensive and not always best in terms of quality. While meat will taste better and be healthier if it is grass-fed and free-range, it is not absolutely necessary to eat while on the keto diet. If you opt for a more affordable meat, that will not affect your diet. It will save you some money though. On the other hand, some organic vegetables and fruit will not only taste better, but will be better for you because they will not have the pesticide spray on them that regular fruits and veggies do. In terms of pesticides on regular fruits and veggies, there is nothing significant to suggest that the non-organic ones are any less nutritional or that they pose any more of a health risk. Yes, it is true that organic foods cannot have any pesticide use. The only main difference in the majority of foods is the price. So if you have to wait a while to be able to afford the organic label, that's not such a big deal. Number 5, eggs are essential. Eggs are not only one of the most versatile foods on the market, high in protein and full of healthy fats, they are also incredibly cost-effective for someone on a budget. Eggs can be enjoyed for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, in a healthy egg scramble, egg frittata, or added to a spinach salad for extra flavor and nutrients. Eggs are filling, healthy, inexpensive, and welcome on the keto diet. Number 6, buy nuts in bulk. As with beans, buying nuts in bulk is far more cost-effective solution than buying them pre-packaged, and luckily, almonds and walnuts are fairly inexpensive nuts and are both approved for the keto diet. It also pays to buy larger quantities of nuts at stores such as Costco that have great deals for large bags of almonds and walnuts. These nuts also last a long time when stored in a cool and dry place, so there's no need to worry about eating them right away. Number 7, pre-portion your meals. Taking the time to pre-plan your meals may help you save close to $500 per year. Families across North America could save upwards of $1,500 a year and reduce waste by up to 40% if they properly planned their meals. If the average family is 4 people, you can assume that your savings will be close to $500 and that your waste is most likely close to 20% of what you prepare, whether in leftovers or produce going bad. By properly portioning your meals and buying only what you know you will eat, you can reduce waste and spend much less when preparing meals. Committing to reducing your waste, both money and food, you need to also incorporate your leftovers in the next day's meals, or freeze them for a meal that you will make later on. It is important to remember when you are beginning the keto diet that your costs may be a little higher in the beginning due to purchasing a bag of walnuts or a bottle of avocado oil, but it will all even out in the long run. Packaged food, the price of convenience. The price of convenience is ever present throughout many aspects of our lives, but none so glaringly obvious as with food. There is no getting around paying more for prepackaged foods, especially when the keto name is attached. Or is there? The obvious route around paying for prepared meals and sauce is not to buy them in the first place. Of course, they are more convenient, but they will run your grocery bill up significantly. And when you are on a tight budget, it makes a difference to how much food you can afford. It's important that when you go to the grocery store to buy keto diet approved foods, that you are not letting yourself or anyone else down by choosing against prepackaged keto foods. Companies are quick to get in on the latest trend, especially in food, and prepare foods, sauces, and meals under the name of the diet the foods are appropriate for. While these foods may be ideal for you to consume and stay on track to lose weight, they are not the only option and are not as cost-effective as making the foods on your own. In case you still feel you are not truly ketogenic for not buying the packaged bombs and bars that companies make, remember that the keto diet is all about natural foods that are not processed. This means that the granola bars and much of the other prepackaged keto-approved snacks are not as healthy as they claim to be. When shopping for any food, it's best to stick to the outside of the grocery store in order to accumulate the freshest ingredients with little processing. Of course, the exceptions are frozen fruit and veggies, as well as canned beans. Eating out without cheating on your diet or budget. Everyone likes to eat out once in a while, but when you are on a strict diet, it makes an evening out slightly more challenging. While there are restaurants that cater to all dietary restrictions and preferences, it's up to you to understand what you are allowed to eat and how much. The portions on the plate may outweigh what you are able to intake in a day, so you need to know the balance of fats and proteins that you can eat and what that looks like when it's served to you on a platter. While it is challenging to commit to the keto diet due to the restrictions, it's possible to not only maintain the diet but thrive on it, even when you are dining out with friends. Keep in mind that what you order is not going to be how it's made by you at home. Restaurants have their own recipes and secret sauces added to vegetables and meats, so you might have to ask what it is in those extras or opt out of them altogether, making your list of meal choices even smaller. Keep in mind that you entered into this diet after much thought and contemplation, or you are thinking of choosing this diet. The reason for accepting the challenge of the keto diet is to help you lose weight or to control type 2 diabetes, seizures, or some other health-related issue. This diet is not for the weak-willed, but if you are serious about sticking to it, there is no reason you cannot enjoy a night out. As previously stated, you will need to know what you can eat and how much. Counting macronutrients. With the keto diet, counting macronutrients is important, as this will allow you to track the fat, protein, and carbs you are consuming. Foods contain varying amounts of carbs, proteins, and fats. We already know that on a keto diet, the fat needs to be the primary source of food, with moderate protein and few carbohydrates. It's important that you understand macros, set goals, and learn how to maintain them, not only when you eat out, but in your daily eating as well. Understanding keto diet macros. We already know that macronutrients include your body's intake of carbohydrates, fat, and protein. The food you eat supplies these various calories and will help your body function properly when participating in physical activities or building and promoting your health goals. To get a better understanding of what a macro ratio is like while on keto, I've listed some basic calculations below. Fat accounts for 70% of calories. Protein accounts for 25% of calories. Carbohydrates account for 5% of calories. When this formula is followed, your body will enter ketosis and burn fat for energy rather than relying on glucose. Now that you know what percentage of calories are to be from fats, protein, and carbs, you will need to determine how many calories you will require to maintain a healthy level of nutrients and energy, while maintaining a count low enough to promote weight loss. Your next steps will be determining your keto macro target based on your goals. 1. Caloric intake. As with any diet, you need to determine what your weight loss goals are before you determine how many calories you need to consume per day. If you are planning on losing weight, you will need to lower your caloric intake, whereas you will need to increase your intake of calories if you are wanting to gain weight or bulk up. Once you determine how many calories you will need to support your energy requirements each day, you can determine your macro goals. Number 2, carbohydrate requirements. When determining your carbohydrate requirements on the keto diet, you need to be able to account for entering a state of ketosis and how many grams of carbs per day will get you to that goal. As mentioned, depending on your energy output, you will need to take between 20 to 50 grams of carbs daily. You can also calculate the total number of calories you consume in a day. Carbohydrates account for approximately 4 calories per gram. If you are trying to maintain 20 grams of carbohydrates per day, then 2,000 calories daily would be roughly equivalent to 5% of your calories coming from carbs. To reach a higher gram count, you will need to increase your calorie intake. If you need a guideline to help you estimate how many carbohydrates you will need in your calorie intake, I've outlined ranges on a daily basis below. 20 grams of carbohydrate equals less than 2,000 calories. 25 to 30 grams of carbohydrates equals 2,000 to 2,500 calories. 30 to 35 grams of carbohydrates equals 2,500 to 3,000 calories. 35 to 50 grams of carbohydrates equals more than 3,000 calories. When you are dealing with net carbohydrates, it's easier to calculate your net carb intake each day over your complete carb consumption. To do this, you need to track how much fiber you take in. You can exclude your fiber intake because it is difficult for the body to absorb. Therefore, blood sugar levels are not affected in the same way as other carbs. Because of this, you can discount the carb intake from fiber by subtracting the fiber you have taken in through the day and subtract from your total carb intake. This will lead you to the net carbs you have consumed during the day. To calculate your total net carbs in the above nutritional information, you would take the total carbohydrate amount, 37 grams, and subtract the dietary fiber amount, 4 grams, for a total of 33 grams of carbohydrates. This label is just an example, and you would typically want to avoid a product that had this high amount of carbohydrates on a keto diet. Number 3, protein. While protein intake is limited on the keto diet, it is important to maintain a healthy level so that your body's lean mass is supported. Protein is also responsible for healthy nails, bones, hair, and muscle mass, as well as helping your organs maintain a healthy shape and work properly. Protein is not to be discarded as it makes up all that our body is, essentially. As with any diet, you need to adjust the intake of carbs, protein, and fat according to your body type, your physical needs, and weight loss goals. There are some arguments which suggest that protein should remain low on the keto diet since it is metabolized into sugar, but there is also some research that claims that a higher intake of protein could be responsible for a more controlled appetite and result in lower body fat, all while maintaining ketosis. You do not need to be particularly active to lose fat on the keto diet, but you should have an understanding of the protein that you need according to your activity level and your fitness goals. When determining your fitness activity level, do you exercise infrequently, very little, exercise regularly, 2 to 3 days per week, exercise frequently, more than 3 days per week? You base your protein consumption on the amount of activity you partake in each week. For example, if you are sedentary, 0.6 grams to 0.8 grams of protein. If you exercise regularly, 0.8 grams to 1 gram of protein. If you exercise frequently or lift weights, 1 gram to 1.2 grams of protein. Based on these numbers, someone that weighs 175 pounds who exercises regularly and wants to drop some weight would require 157.5 grams of protein daily. That's 175 times 0.9 equals 157.5. Protein equals 4 calories per gram. Therefore, if you need to calculate the calories you would need, multiply by 4. Number 4, fat intake. Arguably, the most important calculation you need to make pertains to your fat intake. For every gram of fat, you can estimate you are consuming about 9 calories. your calculations should be as follows. Multiply the amount of carbs you need and multiply the grams of carbohydrates by 4 to find the calories you will consume from carbs. For example, 25 grams times 4 equals 100 calories from carbohydrates. Next, you will find your approximate protein requirements. For example, 125 grams times 4 equals 500 calories from carbohydrates. Finally, add your calories from protein and carbohydrate and subtract that from the daily total of calories you require. If you need 2,000 calories per day, take the 500 calories from protein plus 100 calories from carbohydrates, which equals 600. This leaves you with 1,400 calories, which is 2,000 minus 600. This leaves 1,400 divided by 9, which equals 155.5 grams of fat daily that needs to be consumed. Finding your keto macro percentage isn't as difficult as it may seem. So if you are not a fan of numbers, no worries. By dividing the calories from the macros that accumulate your daily need by 100%, you will find your macro percentage. An easier option is to use one of the many keto macro calculators that are available online. Chapter 4. Healthy Choice or Health Risk. Anytime you are trying to lose weight or cut down on body fat, you are doing yourself a solid. By beginning the keto diet, you are already on your way to living a healthier and more comfortable life. If we were to assume only the data collected about this diet when it was initially presented, then we would have to say that it has had positive results simply because of the reduction in epileptic seizures it gave the initial patients who participated in this diet. We must also consider that most people who are on the keto diet have lost significant amounts of weight, which takes extra weight off of your joints and allows you to become more active. There is no doubt that when someone feels more comfortable in their own skin and becomes more active, that they are going to increase their lung capacity and cardiovascular health. Exercising will also help to reduce stress, depression, anxiety, and a slew of other health risks that may not directly relate to obesity or physical health conditions, but will certainly contribute to them in a roundabout way. Even though this diet has seen many people, including myself, lose weight and live a more manageable life with higher energy levels, it isn't for everyone, and thorough research should be conducted before committing to this strict diet. Assuming your doctor has given you the go-ahead and you have decided you would like to know the health benefits and potential risks of the keto diet, I'll walk you through some of the widely based experiences of ketogenic believers and some of the complications that can occur. Health benefits. Right off the top, we can speak of several health benefits that come as a result of beginning the keto diet. Number 1, weight loss. The number one goal for people who have begun the keto diet is to lose weight, but more than that, it gets people away from consuming large quantities of carbohydrates that turn to glucose and can lead to uncomfortable bloating, rapid weight gain, and often leave one with low energy levels. With the higher levels of fat in the keto diet, the body translates the fat that is consumed into energy, which helps you lose weight while having enough energy for your body to run on. More than fat reduction, following a ketogenic diet can help reduce obesity-related illnesses, including heart disease, diabetes, stroke, and even help prevent certain cancers. Once a state of ketosis has been reached, you will be more energetic and have a lighter feeling about you in general, since your stomach won't be weighed down with heavy carbohydrates. Number 2, appetite reduction. Because you are consuming a high amount of healthy fats on the keto diet, you will be able to eat until you are full without having to go back for more food on a constant basis, as you would if you were consuming high amounts of carbs. Your body will become accustomed to burning the fat it is given in a more fluid and constant manner, without the sugar rushes and crashes that come from a high glucose diet. You will have an overall feeling of contentment after a meal and remain that way for hours. When you are consuming satiating foods, they provide energy for your body the same way as carbs and protein together. You will experience a feeling of enough when you reach ketosis, and your body will no longer be in a constant battle without itself, over having too little or too much glucose to get it to the next meal. Imagine, on the keto diet, you can feel completely satisfied without a bloated or swollen sensation. Ketosis suppresses the appetite and can even promote a reduction in the hormone that contributes to the sensation of hunger, ghrelin. Ketosis will also increase the hormone that is created through fat cells, leptin, that plays a part in decreasing hunger. Number 3, reduce inflammation. Most of us experience inflammation and correspondingly will be plagued by a slew of uncomfortable side effects such as swelling, stiffness, chronic tiredness, all of which can lead to mental exhaustion or depression. Ketones are produced when you reach a state of ketosis, the goal of the keto diet. Ketones help to reduce inflammation in various parts of the body and will alleviate the feelings of cramping, stiffness, and will effectively help you become more energetic. Imagine changing the way you feel by changing your diet. It's possible, not only because of the release of ketones, but because of the anti-inflammatory properties in so many of the foods that are promoted on the keto diet, such as ones listed in previous chapters. There are many foods that provide anti-inflammatory properties, including eggs, oils such as avocado, olive, coconut, avocados, cauliflower, broccoli, nuts, garlic, blueberries, fatty fish. Food that are to be avoided due to the inflammation they can cause include refined sugar, processed foods, fruits, omega-6, starchy vegetables, grains, processed oils such as corn, safflower, and canola. These are to only name a few foods that you should avoid to prevent inflammation, but they are also not on the approved list of foods on the keto diet, so chances are you will not be ingesting them anytime soon. Number 4, blood pressure. High blood pressure is a common concern for North Americans. Luckily, the keto diet helps to reduce blood pressure more so than the majority of the low-fat diets that many follow. Some studies that have followed the results of cholesterol levels in obese people found that over a 24-week period, the men and women who were studied had an overwhelmingly positive response to the keto diet, and their levels of cholesterol, triglycerides, LDL, and blood glucose lowered significantly. Number 5, reduce cholesterol. Cholesterol is a touchy subject and not one that is understood very well. High cholesterol can lead to heart disease, which is inarguably bad, but high fat content is not the reason for such high levels, as many think. The reason that many people have high cholesterol is because they eat a diet that is high in processed foods and carbohydrates that are extremely high in sugar content. The keto diet helps to reduce triglycerides, bad cholesterol, and it increases the HDL, which is the good cholesterol, that helps to eliminate cholesterol in the blood. There may be a temporary increase in LDL cholesterol, but that is likely due to rapid weight loss. This will more than likely even out after some months on the diet, at which time your LDL will return to a normal level. 6. Cardiovascular health. The heart beats on average more than 2.5 billion times over one's life. The heart never rests, continually pumping blood to every part of the body every second of the day, whether you are aware of it or not. There is only one time that your heart will fail you, and that is hopefully a long way down the road, providing you give it the care and attention it deserves now. The list of foods that are recommended on the keto diet are mainly high in fat, but it is the healthy fat that helps to reduce cholesterol, which can lead to poor cardiovascular health. Since high levels of cholesterol will cause fat buildup in your blood vessels, the reduction of cholesterol as a result of ketosis will subsequently help to reduce the risk of heart disease. Number 7, regulating blood sugar. With such a great reduction in sugar, it's understandable that the keto diet was brought to be to help with diabetics and helping to reduce their blood sugar levels. It stands to reason that the less sugar you consume, the less sugar is in your blood, and the results are noticeable and fast. In many cases, patients have begun the keto diet and had their doctors monitor their blood levels regularly so that they can adjust their medications accordingly. Some people who have diabetes do not respond to insulin as they should, which means they are prone to dangerously high blood glucose levels. Studies show that diabetics that participate in the keto diet have a reduction in the glucose levels in their blood in combination with their medications. Number 8. Migraines, neurological disorders. Anyone that suffers from migraines knows how debilitating they can be. They are a neurological condition that can appear in a number of ways and have varying symptoms. Some people suffer from blurred vision, numbness or tingling, light sensitivity, nausea, and other painful and confusing symptoms. There have been a few studies on migraines in the keto diet, and most found that after being on the ketogenic diet for a few months, migraine sufferers had fewer migraines, while some could go more than 3 months without suffering from one at all. It stands to reason that a diet that was created with the goal of reducing epilepsy, which is a neurological disorder, would also help reduce migraines. Ketones, a neuroprotective antioxidant, prevent reactive oxygen species, cell signaling molecules, have the noble job of protecting your brain from strokes or neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease. A neurotransmitter in the brain, glutamate, is regulated more when someone is on the keto diet, preventing nerve cells to be damaged if they become overstimulated. While research on brain function in the keto diet is not ironclad, there are some promising findings by both researchers and those who partake in the diet. Number 9. Fighting against cancer. Some studies have come to find that a diet low in carbs may pose as a benefit to anyone going through cancer treatment. How can the keto diet help? Keep healthy cells from becoming depleted by cancer treatments, such as radiation or chemotherapy. Keep tumors from growing rapidly. Helps mediation work more efficiently. Reduces inflammation. None of the trials are ironclad, but they do show promise that the keto diet is a good choice for those fighting cancer. Health risks. Even with the great results that millions of people have had on the keto diet, there are possible risks associated with this diet, especially if you are planning on committing to this diet for a great length of time. Some of the risks that can be associated with the keto diet include lowering your carb intake to between 20 to 50 grams daily may not just be difficult for you to achieve, but it can be a shock to your system. When your system switches to using fat for fuel in a state of ketosis, then it is possible to experience symptoms that mimic the flu, including dizziness, nausea, headaches, constipation. Your body may experience dehydration as it becomes used to ketosis, a common occurrence. Some things you can do to help you through the period of this diet are drinking plenty of water, maintain electrolytes, eat foods with high levels of potassium and sodium. Put stress on the kidneys. By consuming foods that are high in fat, you may be risking the production of kidney stones. Eating high levels of fat are inevitable when you are on the keto diet, as it was intended, since your levels of fat need to be 80% minimally. The reason that your chances of kidney stones increase is because urine and blood are more acidic with the increase of meat, which can result in calcium buildup in the urine. If you are experiencing issues with your kidneys, or if you have been diagnosed with chronic kidney disease, the keto diet is not for you. With weakened kidneys, the removal of acid in the blood is increased because of the consumption of more meat, which can cause acidosis. Increased digestive issues. With less carbohydrate consumption, maintaining the recommended fiber intake is more challenging. The foods that we rely on for fiber are off limits on the keto diet, including sugary fruit, beans, whole grains, starchy vegetables. Constipation, as mentioned above, can be a side effect of the keto diet. Digestion issues and discomfort can also be an issue. The good bacteria that help keep your gut healthy is produced by fiber. Having a healthy gut helps with promoting positive mental health, increased immunity, and anti-inflammatory benefits. Keto does not promote fiber, so there is a chance that your stomach bacteria may be compromised. You can help to keep your insides healthy by including the foods that are high in fiber and keto approved, including chia seeds, leafy greens, flaxseed, broccoli, coconut. Vitamin nutrient deficiency. On the keto diet, it is more likely that you will suffer from vitamin and nutrient deficiencies since there are limited fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. Vitamin supplements may be necessary because of the lack of foods prevalent in vitamin D, calcium, phosphorus, and magnesium. It's important to talk to your doctor about the nutrients you may lack because of the restrictions on this diet. If you limit your intake of processed foods and stick to healthy fatty foods like nuts and avocados, then your nutrient levels should remain sufficient. May decrease bone density. Studies have shown that the keto diet may result in decreased bone density when you are adjusting to ketosis. The diet may also result in the breakdown of bones. Low blood sugar. People with type 1 diabetes could be high risk of hypoglycemic episodes, which have the following symptoms: confusion, sweating, fatigue, shakiness. On the extreme side, hypoglycemia can result in a coma or death. A low-carb diet may lower your blood sugar, although there is a risk they could be increased. Check with your doctor before beginning the keto diet if you have diabetes. Increased chronic heart diseases. Since the keto diet is high in fat, there is debate on whether or not there is an increased risk of heart disease, especially if you are on the diet long term. While there is no definite study to support that the keto diet increases risk of heart disease, there is reason to consult your doctor if you have high cholesterol or a family history of heart disease, or if you have had a stroke or heart attack in the past. Chapter 5. Where to begin. If you've come this far, you've put a lot of thought and research into committing to the keto diet. It's difficult to know where to begin, especially when you are doing the keto diet on a budget. As already mentioned, there are some great ways to save on groceries by simply going bulk or opting out of the more expensive organic or grass-fed foods. But beginning this restrictive diet means more than just counting your pennies. There are some steps you will take to begin your diet, such as: Number 1, decrease your carbohydrates. The way to ketosis is through low carbs. We already know this, but you also need to realize it doesn't mean never eating a carb again. A reduction in your net carbs will lead to ketosis, especially if you limit them to 20 grams or less daily. Ketosis will usually occur within 2 weeks. During the first few weeks, especially, it is important that you are supplementing your diet with plenty of vegetables that are non-starchy and keto approved, such as asparagus, mushrooms, peppers, broccoli, kale, spinach, celery, tomatoes, mushroom, cucumber, zucchini, lettuce. Since you are on a budget fit for a college student, you will need some money-saving tips to help with the first step, since vegetables are not as cheap as they should be. There are plenty of ways that you can get a bargain on veggies if you try. Buy frozen. There are lots of recipes that call for vegetables that can be fresh or frozen, so opt for the frozen variety when it's cheaper to do so. Just as frozen berries stay fresher in the freezer, so do frozen vegetables. It's nice to eat fresh, but if you are going to put them in a pot to boil or add them in a sauce, then it doesn't matter if they are frozen to begin with. Buy in season. The vegetables that are in season are going to be the cheapest since they are plentiful, so those should be the ones you frequently buy at the market. When a vegetable isn't in season, they are going to be grown in a hothouse or shipped from farther away, which drives up the price. Grow your own. If you have a garden in your yard, a planter on your deck, or even a pot in your windowsill, you can grow your own veggies and save a lot of money doing so. From the dollar store to a garden center, everyone is selling grow your own veggies in seed form or already potted and ready to go. All you have to do is keep them alive and pick them when ready. Some of the easiest to grow and maintain veggies are on the keto diet approval list, such as lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini, peppers. Buy imperfect. There are several places that you can ask about purchasing their ugly or market produce for a discount. Unbelievably, there are people that refuse to buy a vegetable that looks like it has 2 heads or a pepper that's oddly flat. Ask around, especially at your more upscale markets. You may be surprised by the deals you can get. The imperfection may also account for veggies that are marked with sunspots or that have a gouge in them that can easily be cut around. You may even become a regular that the grocer puts aside the oddities for. Roadside stands or markets. If you live near places that have stands on the side of the road that sell veggies, go see what they are offering. Often, these places are supplied the vegetables through their own farms, so there is no middleman to pay, thus saving you money. A small produce market is also more likely to sell vegetables for less, because they tend to support local growers, which allows them to get the produce themselves and not pay for shipping costs. Even if they are delivered, the delivery is reasonable. 2. Get to know your healthy fats. Since the keto diet requires you to increase your fat intake dramatically, you will want to associate yourself with the healthy fats that you will be consuming. Your fat intake will account for roughly 70% of your calories. Some of the keto-approved foods that have healthy fats are avocados and avocado oil, flax seeds, nut butters and oil, nuts, chia seeds, hemp hearts, eggs, butter, fatty fish, cheese, Greek yogurt, full fat, coconuts and coconut oil, unrefined, olives and olive oil, cold pressed. It is important to remember that these are the top healthy fatty foods on the keto diet, but not all of them. Since these fatty foods can be incredibly pricey, you will need to look for deals where you can in order to stick to your budget. Some ways to save money on specific items include nuts. As mentioned earlier, buying nuts in bulk is a great way to save money. You can also purchase large quantities at stores like Costco that will sell large bags or tubs of nuts for much cheaper than you would pay if you bought several smaller size bags. Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt can be a bit pricey, but there are ways to save on this delicious dairy treat by buying the larger tubs of yogurt rather than the individual ones. There is also the option of buying Greek yogurt on sale and freezing it for up to 2 months. And when it comes down to saving $1 or $2, there is no shame in buying the yogurt that is about to expire, especially since the best before date can usually be extended on things like yogurt. Even if it expires in a couple of days, freeze it and take it out when you are ready to enjoy it. Eggs. If you live in an area where there are farms, you may want to check into the opportunity to buy farm fresh eggs. Not only can you generally buy eggs directly from a farm, but you will get the freshest eggs available. Hemp hearts and chia seeds. Hemp heart and chia seeds can also be purchased in bulk to bring down the cost. There are also sold at places like HomeSense and Winners a lot of the time, where the price is considerably lower than you would pay in a grocery store. Number 3, reduce your stress. Since we were kids, and as I say to my own children when they are having a rough day, calm down and relax. Well, it's not that easy, or we would be stress-free and living a life of no worries. But you may be wondering why it's important to reduce your stress before beginning the keto diet. Significant levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, can be responsible for raising your blood sugar level, and your body may not be able to reach a state of ketosis as easily. A great way to reduce stress is to get plenty of sleep and exercise, relax with a good book, or even try meditation. You don't need to commit hours each day to doing nothing, but you should avoid high-stress activities and situations at all costs. Number 4, exercise more. The best way to lose weight is through a good diet and getting plenty of exercise. On the keto diet, you will achieve ketosis quicker if you are adding exercise to your routine. It's also important to note that when you build muscle through exercise, your body will burn fat, even while you're sleeping, especially if you add weights to your routine. The body also uses a great deal more glycogen when you are active, and it doesn't have the chance to store fat reserves in your body. Number 5, drink plenty of water. We all know that water is incredibly important for our overall health and well-being, but this is especially true when you are on a diet like this one. Low-carb diets are likely to have a diuretic effect, and if you are not drinking enough water, you may find you are dizzy or you may even become constipated. It's important to stay well hydrated, especially before you exercise, so that you do not get muscle cramping. Drinking water the day you exercise isn't going to cut it either. You need to make sure that you are drinking between 6 to 8 cups of water per day in order to stay well hydrated. If you drink plenty of water the day you are doing a big hike or a heavy weight day at the gym, it's not enough to sustain you for that workout. Hydration occurs from water taken in the day before, so make it a habit to drink enough water every day. Number 6, watch your protein. Protein may not be the main component on the keto diet, but the 20% or so of your diet that is protein needs to matter and be maintained. Protein supplies the liver enough amino acids to induce the production of glucose for organs and red blood cells that are unable to benefit by making fuel from ketones or fatty acids. The protein balance is finicky as to much may decrease or halt ketosis, while not eating an adequate amount of protein will lead to muscle mass reduction. Educate yourself on the foods you can eat. When you begin the keto diet, it is important that you know what you are able to eat and have those foods readily available, or you may find the urge to cheat on your diet before you have even begun. Make a list of keto-friendly foods, compare savings at various stores, and then make sure you have them ready to go when you are. We've already gone over the keto-approved list of foods that you can have, so now we will go through the foods you should avoid buying. By not having these in your house, you will avoid temptation and be a lot more successful. These are also good to study if you eat out regularly, but you can always just stick to the tried and true list that you know. High-carb foods to avoid on the keto diet. There are various foods that are an absolute no-no on the keto diet, and I'm not just talking about the obvious like junk food. There are several foods that will slow down the process of ketosis and will put your carbohydrate intake way over. Here are some common foods that you need to steer clear of. Sweetened yogurt, juice, grains, starchy vegetables, chips, baked goods, honey and syrup, alcohol. Even though you are sworn to a strict carbohydrate count each day, there is a tiny bit of wiggle room for those who exercise on a regular basis. If adding a few grams of extra carbs to your diet isn't incentive enough to get out for a run or do some kettlebell swings, then nothing is. When it comes to dieting and why you need to stay away from certain foods, it's good to know exactly what the reason is. So I'm going to take you into the reason behind why you should avoid the foods listed above. Sweetened yogurt. In sweetened yogurt, there are too many added sugars which will add to your carbohydrate count. By sticking to Greek yogurt, you are going to be eating less carbs and you will be getting a substantial amount of calcium. Juice. Despite what many people assume, most fruits are incredibly high in sugar and can not only cause your blood sugar to rise drastically, but are high in carbs that only maintain your energy level for a short time, then lead you to crash. Apples, pineapple, and orange juice are all examples of juice that you should avoid while on the keto diet. Grains. This is a tough one because grains are in so many foods that we consume on a regular basis, and all are high in carbs. Even opting for a whole grain bread or pasta is going to give you a high carb count and should be avoided. More obvious are the breakfast cereals that are full of sugar, but even some of the whole grains are something you should limit your consumption of. Starchy vegetables. Believe it or not, you should always eat your veggies. Some vegetables are full of carbohydrates and should be consumed infrequently, such as potatoes and sweet potatoes, corn, green peas, butternut squash, turnips, beets, and even carrots. Chips. Aside from the additives and trans fats that many chips contain, they are processed and low in fiber, but really high in carbs. Baked goodies. Baked goods are notoriously full of carbs and rarely contain any nutritional value, and don't let gluten-free fool you as they are not free from carbs either, and should be limited or avoided altogether. Honey and syrup. This may be obvious, but avoid honey and syrups of any kind because they are high in carbohydrates and offer little to no nutrition. Alcohol. Although some alcohol such as wine and beer and some harder spirits have zero carbs, alcohol will slow the speed with which you lose fat. Sticking to water is the best option rather than risking an alcoholic beverage. Prepare batches of food ahead of time. This tip is especially true of anyone who is short on time, but is particularly helpful if you are trying to stick to a diet. When we are hungry or in a rush, sometimes we have something we shouldn't do just this once, and that can turn into a daily thing, and ketosis does not come to those who can't stick to their healthy fats. Save time, reduce waste, and always have a keto-friendly meal ready to go by making a larger batch of food that you will eat and freezing the other portions to take to work or pull out for a meal when you have limited time. Chapter 6. Can Vegetarians Do the Keto Diet? The keto diet is a high-fat diet that many vegetarians would find difficult to follow, considering the main source of fat generally comes from meat, poultry, and seafood. To sustain a diet high in fats without eating legumes and grains that are not a part of the keto-approved foods would be difficult. As a vegetarian, it is difficult to get the protein needed to maintain essential vitamin and nutrient levels, and it is common to become protein deficient. While it is possible to do the keto diet as a vegetarian, it is crucial that you see your doctor to ensure you are going to be consuming enough nutrients with the foods allowed on the diet. Your success on this diet will also be determined by what kind of vegetarian you are, as there is more than one type, and certain kinds of vegetarians would do quite well on the keto diet since they can eat eggs and dairy, while vegans are restricted to foods that in no way have come from or been produced by a living animal or insect. Let's determine which vegetarian you are to see which foods you would be able to consume from the keto diet and if it is the right choice for you. Which vegetarian are you? If you are already a vegetarian, you have most likely been asked, "Do you eat any meat?" To which you may have looked at the person questioning you blankly because you literally just told them you were a vegetarian, which to you means no meat, right? Well, not all vegetarians are strictly eaters of only foods that grow on a tree, bush, vine, in the soil, or produced naturally by nature in some way. Vegan is not the only type of vegetarian. There are actually 8 different types of vegetarians, and the food choices vary greatly from pescatarians to vegan. A vegetarian is generally defined as someone who does not eat meat, such as beef, pork, poultry, or any other type of animal that lives on land. The 8 categories below may be up for debate, since many do not consider a pulitarian or flexitarian as an actual vegetarian, but I've included them because they are technically in the realm of what people consider to be more conscious of how much meat or meat byproducts they consume. I've listed from the least to most strict of vegetarian diets. So which vegetarian are you? Number 1. Flexitarian. The least restrictive of the vegetarian diets is the flexitarian, which, as you can imagine, gives themselves the most flexibility when limiting their eating choices. A flexitarian does not avoid animal products or proteins from what they eat, but they usually will limit their consumption of these products to perhaps 1 day a week, or even limit themselves further and have meat products only on special occasions such as holidays. The flexitarian may also limit their meat and meat byproduct consumption to grass-fed meats or free run in order to follow a more humane eating practice. The flexitarian lifestyle will allow someone who enjoys meat to still savor it less frequently. One often chooses to be a flexitarian not because they don't enjoy meat or think it's cruel, but because they want to have less of an impact on the environment and feel they are doing their part by reducing their animal consumption. The flexitarian will have the most easy transition to the keto diet because they are still consuming high-fat foods through meat, poultry, and seafood. They are more likely to be able to maintain a healthy level of protein and won't be as susceptible to becoming nutrient deficient. Number 2. Pulitarian. A pulitarian follows a diet that restricts pork and red meat. They will still eat poultry and seafood as well as other animal byproducts. By eliminating the proteins that come from red meat, the pulitarian will have to watch their protein intake, but will still be able to follow the keto diet well within the option of eating poultry, seafood, and dairy products. Number 3. Pescatarians. A pescatarian is a vegetarian that still consumes seafood, but has cut out all other animal proteins, including poultry. Whether the pescatarian eats eggs and other dairy products is solely on an individual basis. This diet still allows for the fat intake from fatty fish, which is a good thing if one is considering the keto diet, since it makes it a little bit easier to stick to your goals. Number 4, lacto-vegetarian. Formally recognized by other vegetarians is the lacto-vegetarian who eliminates all meat and fish and eggs from their diet, but still consumes dairy products. Since dairy is a good source of protein, there is less worry that a lacto-vegetarian will have issues on the keto diet. They will, however, need to work at finding the fat that they need to consume in order to meet the percentage requirement. Even with dairy, there are some risks of running low on iron and other vitamins and nutrients. Number 5, ovo-vegetarian. An ovo-vegetarian is one who has eliminated all meat, seafood, and dairy from their diet, but they do continue to eat eggs. Since eggs are a good source of protein, it is something that will help them be successful on the keto diet. Number 6, lacto-ovo-vegetarian. Like the 2 previous vegetarians, lacto-ovo-vegetarians eat no meat or seafood, but continue to eat eggs and dairy products. Again, with the option of eating eggs, cheese, yogurt, and other dairy products, they are going to be more successful at maintaining the keto diet, if only for a few months at a time, than our next 2 vegetarian categories. Number 7, vegans. Vegans are really serious about not eating any animal product or byproducts. They do not eat meat, seafood, dairy, eggs, and will not eat anything that is a byproduct of an animal or living thing such as honey or gelatin. The lack of any animal product or byproduct is going to make sticking to the keto diet challenging for a vegan, since they will have a hard time accumulating the fats and protein they need to sustain weight loss on the diet, as well as maintain their health. Number 8, raw vegans. Raw vegans are the strictest vegetarians. They consume 0 foods that come from animals or byproducts of animals, and there is rarely any cooking, even when they eat legumes and seeds. They will only heat minimally to under 114 degrees Fahrenheit in order to minimize the loss of nutrients that often comes from cooking foods like vegetables. The raw vegan will have a very difficult time on the keto diet and should probably reconsider their diet options. Want versus need. When you are choosing a diet, especially one that can provide such dynamic results in a short period of time, you need to determine what you need from your diet versus what you want to get out of it. There are different variations of the keto diet, and all of them fit perfectly into different people's lives for their sole purpose and goals. So how do you decide the right variation that will suit your personal health, goals, and any health risks or factors that need to be taken into consideration? Remember to check with your doctor and go over the keto plan that is your option to get a clear bill of health. Keto for epilepsy. As mentioned, the keto diet came to be when it was discovered that it helped reduce seizures in children. Today, some doctors still recommend the diet if traditional medicines have not been successful in reducing seizures due to epilepsy. There are some risks associated with this for children, including constipation, decrease in growth, weight loss, and even anorexia due to lack of nutrients and limited protein. There have also been findings of increased risk of developing hypocalciuria, low blood sugar, and kidney stones, as would occur with an adult who is susceptible to these issues. The keto diet should not be implemented onto a child unless all other options for reducing seizures have been exhausted, and a doctor has been consulted to give the okay for the child to begin the diet. Basic keto diet. We already know what the keto diet is about and how it works, and that it's well suited for anyone who is trying to lose weight and see results quickly. Again, ask your doctor if you are a good candidate for the keto diet, as it is based on 80 to 90% fat intake each day, which may not be appropriate for someone who is pregnant, has a history of cardiovascular disease, or high cholesterol. This diet is difficult to stick to because it is so regimented, but the results are steadfast if you can muster the willpower. It's okay to do this diet in 3 months or a determined time, and then go back to a healthy diet once your weight loss goal is achieved. But it's not going to keep you at your goal weight if you completely disregard healthy eating while you are on the keto diet. Stick to a healthy eating routine, even if you are not sustaining the keto diet year-round. Modified keto diet. Some people have a difficult time counting the total percentage of fat, protein, and caloric intake they consume. this is for them. While results may not be as swift on the modified version of the keto diet, it follows the same principles and the weight loss should still be evident. Just follow the same principles and keep the carbohydrates to a minimum, healthy fat consumption high, and maintain a moderate protein intake to reach a state of ketosis and lose fat. As with other versions of this diet and any other diet, pregnant women should be extremely cautious and everyone should consult their physician before beginning. Following this version of the keto diet does not mean that you can eat according to the diet one day and the next throw caution to the wind and eat whatever you want. You need to stick to the modified version so that tracking specific percentages in grams isn't going to bog you down, but keep your food consumption consistently keto-friendly or you will not reach a state of ketosis and you may actually experience weight gain. Keto diet Mediterranean style. The Mediterranean keto diet prioritizes fats from fatty fish as well as olive oil, while the keto diet unfiltered has no preference as to which fats you consume. The fats you get from fish and healthy oils, monounsaturated, are going to help lower the bad cholesterol, LDL, and will also help increase anti-inflammatory properties. This diet is a good option for a pescatarian or for anyone who wants to take a healthier approach when on the keto diet for prolonged periods of time. Targeted ketogenic diet. For any athlete that is hoping to increase their performance standards, the targeted keto diet is a good option. For this diet, the usual keto diet is maintained until just before you are going to engage in physical activity, 30 to 45 minutes, and then you can indulge in roughly 25 grams of carbs. With the boost in carbohydrates, you will have the fuel you need to burn through your workout, but since you are exercising and using those carbs immediately, it will not interfere with your state of ketosis. It is best to eat carbs that do not take a long time to digest, such as white rice or bread. If you are going to be partaking in body weight exercises, Tabata, or other exercise that is high intensity, then this diet is a good option. But if you are only going for a short jog or playing golf, this is not the right option as the body will likely not burn all of the carbs that have been ingested. High protein ketogenic diet. This version of the keto diet is going to benefit bodybuilders and those looking to bulk up on muscle by increasing the protein content by about 30% of total calories consumed, and lowering the fat and carb intake, 65% for fats and 5% for carbs. The protein should come from animals, nuts, and dairy in order to get optimal results. As well as bodybuilders, this diet is going to benefit anyone who is protein deficient, which may be evident by hair loss or loss of muscle. Again, someone who has weakened or compromised kidneys should not partake in this version of the diet, as they need to be extremely cautious with protein intake. By increasing the amount of protein you are intaking, ketosis will slow down a bit, so this is why the varied diet is good for those who are participating in heavy weight exercises, since the chances of ketosis remaining high are more likely than someone who is not as physically active. Keto cycling. For someone who is having trouble sticking to the keto diet, or for anyone who thinks they may have trouble following the strict guidelines, keto cycling may be a good start. With keto cycling, or cyclical keto, the diet is followed completely for 5 days, and then the next day or two allows for more carbohydrate consumption. It is important not to overdo the carbs on the day or two, or you may find that ketosis is slow and the results you want are not going to be satisfying. It may be easier to help someone who loves carbs to stick to the diet this way, since they know there is 1 day a week they can indulge. But it may also add an element of difficulty, as it might make one think they can consume more carbs than they actually can. Dirty keto. Yes, there is a variation of the diet that is affectionately called dirty keto. While the fat, protein, and carb counting is pretty much the same on the dirty keto diet as it is on the original keto diet, there is one main difference. Any type of food, from prepackaged meals to processed foods that are usually a no-no on the keto diet, are all counted toward the macros. There is some back and forth over whether the macros can come from any fat source and still provide the same results, but from my experience, the healthier the food, the healthier the body. Whichever diet you choose to follow, You need to speak to your doctor beforehand to make sure you are a good candidate for the keto diet. Once you are given the go-ahead, choose a plan that is right for you and your goals. Chapter 7. Stick to your avocados. The keto diet is like a full-time job. You need to be committed and stick to your avocados, fatty fish, and zucchini no matter what situation you see yourself in. There are going to be a lot of situations that put you out and might make you feel that you should just skip your routine for a day. But you need to stick it out. It doesn't matter where you find yourself, you can make the keto diet work. If you think about it, your life is full of compromises and having to do without or making do with what you are given. How many times have you eaten out and asked for a substitution of bacon instead of sausage or salad instead of fries? There have probably also been times when you've gone to a family dinner and gone without some of the sides because you didn't like them and probably without a thought. But since you are on a diet, everything becomes bigger in your mind. It doesn't need to be a thing. When people begin a diet, it's common for them to panic over what obstacles they will and won't face and how people will judge them. It is not about what others will think. It is about how you feel about your decision and how the diet works for you. Whatever you decide, which presumably is that you will begin or stick to the keto diet, then you need to have the will to eat from the approved foods and stick to it. With the initial side effects that can occur on the keto diet, you need to commit to the diet for at least a few weeks in order for the kinks and awkward indigestion to subside. Eating out does not have to be an ordeal. A large part of socializing is based around food, whether you are attending a birthday dinner, office luncheon, or a family holiday meal. Often, people on a diet tend to avoid socializing at restaurants or gatherings because they don't know what to order that is in the wheelhouse of their diet, or they will have a limited selection of foods. There is no need to be discouraged from beginning the keto diet if you are concerned about outings, as you can easily navigate around the food issues that are introduced at social events. There are strategies you can use to get around feeling awkward or unsatisfied during gatherings while you are on the keto diet. Appies and drinks. There are options for you at restaurants when you go for appetizers and drinks. As mentioned previously, there are alcoholic beverages that you can drink that do not have any carbs whatsoever. There are also usually some appetizers that can be eaten without straying from your diet. First off, there is nothing that insists that you have any alcohol at all during happy hour. Simply make it an appy hour. Chances are no one is going to question you about having water instead of wine. Or you also have the option of a number of keto-friendly alcohols that several restaurants offer. Pure alcohol such as rum, vodka, whiskey, gin, and tequila are carbohydrate-free. These are definitely an acquired taste, but can be added to mixers to make a low-carb drink. Wine and some light beers have only 3 to 4 grams of carbs per serving, and may be a good option if you would like to have a truly cheerful happy hour. I've listed the carb count for these mentioned alcohols below, based on traditional serving in a restaurant. Listed as alcohol type, service, carbohydrates. Rum, 1.5 ounces, 0 grams. Vodka, 1.5 ounces, 0 grams. Whiskey, 1.5 ounces, 0 grams. Gin, 1.5 ounces, 0 grams. Tequila, 1.5 ounces, 0 grams. Light beer, 12 ounces, 3 grams. White wine, 5 ounces, 3 to 4 grams. Red wine, 5 ounces, 3 to 4 grams. If you are not one who can swig back straight up pure alcohols, there are some low-carb drink mixes that can add loads of flavor without adding a lot of unwanted carbs, such as seltzer, diet soda, tonic water, sugar-free. Below are the grams of carbs per mixer, listed as mix, serving, carbohydrates. Seltzer, 1 cup, 0 grams. Diet soda, 1 cup, 0 grams. Sugar-free tonic water, 12 ounces, 0 grams. You do not want to add any mixers that are high in sugar or carbs, or you could be adding more than 30 grams of carbs for one drink, the content exceeded in most meals. You want to avoid fancy drinks such as a Bloody Mary, which has one of the lowest gram counts of the fancy drinks at about 10 grams per drink. margarita, pina colada, or the ever-popular sangria, which can have 27 grams in one drink. When you are choosing an appetizer with a low carb count and low sugar, it's a little bit trickier since there are no carb counts on the menu, and chances are the staff won't be able to tell you the amount if you ask. You may want to stick to an appetizer-sized salad with chicken and dressing on the side. When you are on a budget, you may want to limit your eating out, even for appies, to a minimum, as it will increase your costs. If you go during an actual happy hour, you can count on your appies and some drinks being close to 50% off, so choose the restaurant and timing carefully to ensure you are sticking to your budget. Office lunches. In most offices, it's common for people to bring their lunch every day, which makes it really easy to pack a lunch that is keto approved. There are times when there are special celebrations that require a trip out of the office and to a restaurant, such as a retirement, staff birthday, or farewell. In this case, taking your lunchbox to the restaurant isn't going to cut it. Your first option to avoid drawing unwanted attention to yourself and to ensure you can stick to a budget without hemming and hawing all the time, you can look at the menu ahead of time online and have something pre-chosen. You can even call the restaurant and have them tell you what ingredients and sauces are in the dish you are interested in, and then you can ask if it can be modified to suit your budget. Restaurants usually have a good selection of protein on their menu, including steak, salmon, chicken, or even a salad with eggs. If one entree doesn't have ingredients that fit all your requirements, you can replace potatoes or rice or another high-starch vegetable with a low-starch veggie. Many restaurants have a keto option, identified as such, on their menu, as they do with vegetarian and gluten-free options. There is also the option of replacing a burger bun with a lettuce wrap so that you are not consuming the high carbs from a thick bun. It is not uncommon for people to order their food without a certain sauce and adding others, such as guacamole or simply avocado instead of mayonnaise or a dressing that is high carb. Celebrations and gatherings. There are a couple of options that you can explore when on the keto diet and how you will address your dietary restrictions when you attend a celebration or gathering at someone's house. 1. Let your host know that you are on a diet and cannot eat sugars or grains, and that you need an option that will accommodate this. 2. Offer to bring a dish so that there is at least one thing that you can eat, and don't mention anything about being on a diet, which some don't want to bring attention to. 3. You can eat ahead of time if you expect that there will be little that you can eat, or you can attend the event and just hope that you can eat around the keto restrictions. 4. It's important that you remember that you can have one meal that is not completely keto-friendly. Just get back on track for the next meal. Having foods that aren't 100% on track with your restrictions doesn't mean you cannot eat healthy still. It just means that you will eat some foods that aren't keto approved. One meal off the bank wagon isn't going to make or break your diet, especially if you've been pulling it off for a while. Give yourself a break and enjoy the gathering worry-free. Don't give in to peer pressure. Often, the peer pressure associated with going on a diet is akin to what it was like in high school when you may have been pressured into partaking in or saying no over and over to doing drugs or alcohol. Our friends and family, even as adults, can have an obnoxious habit of trying to get us to do something in order to make themselves feel better for their own choices or lack of discipline. You may even be tempted to give in to the temptation and be part of the junk food squad, but you need to stick to your avocados and not throw away a good ketosis for the taste of a dessert or chips that will taste great for a few minutes and then stick around in your gut, turning into visceral fat that you will curse. Just as it wasn't cool or mature for your friends to push alcohol onto you in high school or college, it isn't okay for your friends to try to get you to sample the forbidden fruit or potato salad now. It does happen that someone wants to indulge in dessert and cheat on their own diet, but just because they aren't watching their calories doesn't mean that you should toss your goals to the wayside. While cheating on your keto diet isn't going to destroy all the progress that you have made, it could take you out of a ketogenic state and have other downsides that will be frustrating to deal with. And while you can always get back to a state of ketosis, there are some other problems that could arise from raising your carbs even for a day. Rise in blood sugar that can escalate energy and could cause your body to rely on glucose for energy again instead of fat until the sugar reserves are gone. a rise in water weight as the sugars feed glycogen reserves. Your body will stop producing ketones. If you take a cheat day, get back on track right away so that your body can continue to feed off fat and your weight loss will not be disturbed. Cutting your carbs down is going to increase your glucose, but it won't necessarily result in weight gain. Only eating more calories in a day than you burn will make you gain weight. Stick to your calorie goals and you should not have to worry about weight gain, but you will have a difficult time with the impending sugar crash after eating increased carbs, especially a heavy meal consisting of pasta and bread. Whatever you do, get back on the diet right away instead of risking the keto flu again as your body readjusts to having another change. It takes a day to fall out of ketosis, but your body will require between 1 to 7 days to return to a ketogenic state. So how many carbs do you need to consume to fall from ketosis? Well, that all depends on how long you have been in a state of ketosis and your body composition. If you have a high-carb meal that sends your carbohydrate count way over your daily intake, you will lose ketosis within the same 24-hour period, and it's a fine line. If you consume 25 grams of carbohydrates to stay on ketosis, then consuming 30 to 35 grams will most likely send you falling off the ketosis wagon and rolling down the hill. The time it takes you to enter a ketogenic state again will depend on how long you were in ketosis to begin with. It will probably not take you as long to regain a state of ketosis once you've already been there. So what about those cheat days on your own terms? Let me be clear. If you can get through any diet without cheating, it's much better. It has become a common saying for people on diets to have a cheat day or a cheat meal so that they can get through the week knowing they have a reprieve from the strict restrictions imposed by the keto diet. While not recommended for anyone who is likely to add a little more cheating than they should, some say that having something to look forward to on your keto diet will help you keep a more positive outlook through the days to get to that one sweet or savory moment. Having a cheat meal to look forward to, say, every Sunday, may give you the psychological perspective that it isn't so hard to stick to the exact terms of your diet after all. Setting aside a small cheat window may be beneficial for someone with good impulse control who is able to go right back to healthy eating, but there are some keto-approved cheating suggestions that can help you feel a little naughtier than you actually are. Some ways to help you cheat while staying true to your diet are: choose a cheat meal, not a whole day. Indulge in a keto-friendly variation. Wait until you have done keto for a while. Keep the cheat meal the same each week. Choose a cheat meal and not an entire day to eat off the keto menu, since indulging in extra calories and carbs for the whole day will throw you out of ketosis. Keeping it to a single meal will help you stay on track without worrying about your body returning to a ketogenic state. Don't go to the bakery and get a box of donuts or a tray of brownies. Stick to one dessert or meal that is a keto-friendly version of what you would like to enjoy. There are some delicious and inexpensive desserts that can be made 100% keto diet approved while helping you stay on track. If you are already giving yourself a cheat day or meal in the first week of the keto diet, then you are not off to a great start. Give yourself a few weeks to a month before you have a meal that isn't on the keto list, as you will have succeeded in entering ketosis, will get back into it easier, and will have likely already lost weight and become accustomed to a routine of eating keto foods. Choose the same meal each week to indulge so that you can have that one time to have something more, and so that you can cut back on carbs or calories for the day, with the increased sugar and carbs in mind that your cheat meal will have, so it all evens out. Budgets and time can bend. There's a lot to be said for sticking to your diet and sticking to your budget, no matter how meager it may be. There are many tips and tricks to keep your budget on track that we've discussed, depending on how thrifty you are and whether you are okay with asking a grocer where the less than perfect or overly ripe foods are. There is nothing wrong with budgeting your food bill and shopping in more than one store to hit the sales that are advertised that week at each location. No one walks into a car lot and asks to spend the highest price, so why would you go to a grocery store for vegetables that you know are cheaper at the market? Finding the time to eat right shouldn't be an obstacle, but it's often used as an excuse. It is not easy to stick to the keto diet when there are so many delicious-looking foods that appeal to you. As a mom, I find it unnecessarily cruel that so many fun things for kids to eat are so unhealthy and tempting. Having said that, I made a choice to become healthier for my children and myself, and have managed quite well on the keto diet, both with sticking to the diet, but with sticking to a budget as a mom and a college student. There are many excuses to have cheat days or falter, or even give up, but for me that wasn't an option. I have had success on this diet and speak from a place of what I have learned firsthand. Everybody and every person is different, so the choice needs to be made individually and not because it's a trend. If you are on a ketogenic diet because it was trending on Twitter, you may have a bit more difficulty than you expect. But if you are on it for the purpose of losing weight quickly, gaining energy, and feeling like you are making a change for the better, then this diet is for you. You can adjust your budget when it grows from that of a college student to something more substantial. Everyone needs to eat, so there needs to be a budget for any grocery list. Just add keto-friendly options to yours. It's important to remember that the prepared meal kits and keto snacks that are sold are not sponsored by the keto diet. Companies create and package meals, nut mixes, snacks, and even dressings with the ketogenic name across their packaging, but it is not what you need to invest in so that you can invest in your diet. Buying everyday foods at your local grocery store and markets is all that you need to follow the diet and be successful doing it. Don't be fooled by the packaging. It's not about higher prices and convenience that make you lose weight. It's preparing foods that will help you reach a state of ketosis. The bottom line of anyone on a budget is to plan ahead, pre-portion, and incorporate leftovers into other meals. There is always a way to stick to your budget and your guns when it is something you believe in. It's not about reaching a state of skinny. It's about reaching a state of ketosis. Conclusion: research carries weight. When you research the keto diet and all of the benefits it can have, it is equally important to keep in mind that there are some risks involved, especially if you are on a limited diet or if you are fighting a serious illness, such as cancer. As I've mentioned, the keto diet is a highly restrictive diet that is difficult for many people to follow. As a mother of 2 boys, I have found great success in this diet and have lost 45 pounds over the last 10 months. This has not been without challenges. Especially in the beginning, it takes a great deal of effort to stick to any type of change in your life, especially when you are restricting a great deal of foods that you never thought twice about. What makes it particularly challenging is when you are cooking snacks and meals for children that are not on the same restrictions as you and having to tweak your own meal while keeping theirs healthy and appropriate for their age. The research that I did on how to stick to the keto diet on a college student budget was more than a catchy phrase. It was my reality and one that I decided to abide by, no matter how challenging it became. But before I began this journey that I love, I had to weigh the pros and cons, decide if it was practical as a mom and a college student and someone on a budget. After much research and contemplation, I took all the steps I've outlined in this book and made one of the greatest decisions I could for my own health. I don't think I would have been as successful on this diet if I wasn't sure of the pros and cons, as well as educated myself on how restrictive the diet really is. I took the time to mentally prepare for the keto diet, as well as became familiar with recipes that were family-friendly and quick to make or easy to prepare ahead of time. Some of our favorite recipes are listed below and are absolutely budget-friendly and easy to make when you have a family on a busy schedule. Keto recipes on a budget. There are many keto diet recipes that are out there on Pinterest, and you can even get meal plans designed for you for a low cost on the keto diet website. And while some of these meals can be made inexpensively, others may cost quite a bit. I've put a collection of recipes below for you to ensure you are consuming a keto-friendly meal at a reasonable price. Before you get into the delicious goods, here is a complete list of keto-friendly foods that you should buy, but don't worry about getting it all at once. Prepare your meal plan for the week and then shop according to your needs. No sense in stocking up on food that will go to waste before you can use it, or you would defeat the purpose of sticking to a budget. Remember the tips for getting food at a discount, shop sales, look online for coupons, and remember to even make friends with the grocers, butchers, and seafood department. And oh my, you will have your own network of discounts and day-olds that may save you a significant amount of money. Keto shopping list on a budget. Vegetables: zucchini, tomatoes, spinach, sauerkraut, radishes, pumpkin, peppers, onion, okra, mushrooms, lettuce, kale, green beans, garlic, cucumber, celery, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, asparagus, artichokes. Flour: psyllium husk, coconut flour, almond flour. Fruit: lemons, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, avocados, limes, unsweetened coconut. Nuts and seeds: walnuts, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, pecans, peanuts, macadamias, flax seeds, chia seeds, almonds. Dairy: butter, cottage cheese, heavy cream, firm cheese, Greek yogurt, mayonnaise, soft cheese, sour cream. For the pantry: beef broth, chicken broth, bone broth, xanthan gum, Tabasco, herbs, spices, coconut aminos, baking cocoa powder, sweeteners, stevia, swerve, monk fruit, truvia, xylitol, unsweetened chocolate and chocolate chips, pickles, parchment paper. Eggs: you can get cheap eggs, but free-run hens are most ethical. Meats: bacon, beef, beef jerky, chicken, duck, smoked deli meats, fish, ground beef, ham, hot dogs, pastrami, pepperoni, pork, sausages, shellfish, turkey, wild game. Fats: coconut oil, avocado oil, MCT oil, ghee, olive oil, lard, bacon fat, cocoa butter. Unsweetened nut butters: coconut butter, peanut butter, almond butter, macadamia nut butter. Spicy bacon frittata. Eggs are a great source of protein and can be enjoyed for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This frittata has a nice spice to it and ample flavor. If you are not into spicy foods, leave out the chili peppers and add any other low-carb ingredients you would like to add flavor. There is literally no limit to what you can add to this delicious dish, but the combination I like is below. Ingredients: 5 eggs, 140 grams bacon, uncured, 150 grams diced zucchini, 2 dried and crushed chili peppers, 50 grams of cheese, shredded, 80 grams whipping cream, unwhipped, salt to taste, black pepper to taste, olive oil. Add any other ingredients you like, such as cherry tomatoes or onions. Instructions: preheat oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius. Combine in a bowl eggs, cream, cheese, salt, and pepper. Whisk. Heat 1 tablespoon olive oil in an 8-inch skillet over medium-high. Add bacon, chili peppers until almost golden, then add zucchini. Add eggs to skillet. Put the skillet in the preheated oven for 20 minutes or until set and golden. Remove from oven and allow to sit for 10 minutes. Enjoy hot or cold. 3 grams carbohydrates per serving. Chicken avocado salad. This salad is easy to make, requires no cooking, and it is easy to take to work. Plus it has lots of healthy fats and just enough protein. The other great thing about this salad is that it is relatively inexpensive to make. Ingredients: 1 rotisserie chicken, 2 avocados, 4 large tomatoes, 1 large cucumber, 1/4 red onion, 1/2 cup parsley, 2 tablespoons lemon juice, 3 tablespoons olive oil, salt to taste, pepper to taste. If you are cooking for only one person, you can half the recipe so it is more appropriate for one person. Cooking more than you need could lead to tasty leftovers, but it could also lead to wasted food, which would not be conducive to a budget that is as strict as the keto diet itself. Instructions: Mix shredded and deboned chicken, diced cucumbers, avocados, and tomatoes, chopping onion and parsley into a bowl. Drizzle with lemon juice and olive oil and salt and pepper, then toss until mixed. 10 grams of carbohydrates per serving. Shrimp, avocado, and tomato salad. This is a great meal for anyone on a budget on the keto diet. It's got a higher count of protein, but is high in healthy fats. This is a good choice for a day that is planned out with little added protein or a special cheat day. Ingredients: 8-ounce raw shrimp, 10 cherry tomatoes, 1 avocado, 1/2 red onion, chopped parsley or cilantro, 1 tablespoon lime juice, 1 tablespoon olive oil, 2 tablespoons melted butter, salt to taste, pepper to taste. Instructions: toss deveined and peeled shrimp and melted butter until coated. Add shrimp to a preheated skillet and sear until pink at the edges, then flip and cook thoroughly. Move shrimp to a plate and cool. Add other ingredients to a bowl and drizzle with oil and lime juice, tossing until mixed. Add shrimp to other ingredients and mix. Add salt and pepper. 15.55 grams of carbohydrates per serving. Snack box. It doesn't take a long time to get lunch ready for school or work, and it's even better when you prepare snack boxes ahead of time and just grab them from the fridge and go. Keeping our budget in mind, go to the dollar store and buy some inexpensive reusable plastic containers, or look for them on sale at a store like Walmart, and pre-packaged healthy and balanced keto snacks for a quick grab and go that will actually satisfy you. Ingredients: eggs, cheese, cherry grape tomatoes, deli meat, almonds, flaxseed crackers, Parm crisps, wisps, optional. 13 grams of carbohydrates per serving without crackers. There are many options that you can choose to put in a snack box, depending on the types of veggies and meats you like. Just try to make sure they are keto friendly. These are great to have on hand and toss in a bag and go to school for kids and parents. Keto smoothie. There are several keto smoothie recipes, but I tend to go with my favorite because it's a meal in a glass, easy to make, and suits my budget, all while giving me an energy boost to get through my busy day. Min in a blender. 1 cup water. 1/2 mixed berries, frozen, strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries are best. 1/2 avocado. 2 cups spinach. 2 tablespoons hemp seeds. 9 grams of carbohydrates per smoothie. Coffee and whipping cream. No special meal is complete without coffee, but if you're used to having sugar in it, you may want to opt out. Until now. Add a delicious dollop of whipping cream to your coffee for a sweet taste, and it's all keto approved. Ingredients: 1 cup coffee, 1/4 teaspoon vanilla extract, 1/4 cup whipping cream, cinnamon or cocoa to taste. Remember that there are several foods that can double as vegetables as well as a carb substitute that tastes so good, the only thing you'll miss about the real thing are the carbs and calories. Cauliflower makes a great double for potatoes and can be made into several side dishes that help make up for the lack of mashed potatoes or hash browns. Equally as delicious are pasta alternatives such as shredded zucchini. Cauliflower hash browns. Hash browns are an amazing part of breakfast that make a wonderful side dish for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but they are a no-no on the keto diet. These cauliflower hash browns will not leave you feeling that you are missing out on anything but the carbs. Ingredients: rice your cauliflower or buy pre-riced, fresh not frozen. Olive oil, eggs, Parmesan cheese, salt to taste, pepper to taste. Instructions: add riced cauliflower to microwave-safe bowl and cook until tender, 1 to 2 minutes, then allow to sit for 10 minutes. Put the cauliflower on a dishcloth to remove excess moisture. Put cauliflower in bowl and add all other ingredients until well mixed. Put parchment paper on a tray and spray with cooking oil. Mold into equal portions and shape to rectangle, then place on the baking sheet. Put in the oven at 350 and bake for about 45 minutes or until crispy. Zucchini Alfredo. Pasta is a comfort food for many people, not only for the delicious sauces, but for the way it ties a meal together or makes one whole on its own. If you're missing the warmth of pasta, here's a great zucchini Alfredo that my family loves. Ingredients: 1 1/2 pound zucchini, spiralized or 1 small zucchini per serving. 4 tablespoons olive oil, extra virgin, or 1 tablespoon per serving. For the sauce: 3/4 cups butter, unsalted, 1 1/2 pints cream, 2 minced garlic cloves, 6-ounce cream cheese, 6-ounce Parmesan cheese, 3/4 cup cheddar cheese, grated, 1 teaspoon oregano, chopped, 1 tablespoon basil, chopped, salt to taste, pepper to taste. Directions: use a spiralizer to prepare the zucchini, put zucchini in a colander, salt, and leave over the sink. Melt butter in a pan with garlic and cook on medium heat until soft. Add cream and simmer. Add cream cheese and 1/4 of shredded cheese and stir until melted entirely. Add shredded cheese slowly until melted and sauce is creamy. Add oregano and basil until mixed. Remove sauce from stove and allow to thicken, skimming the top to remove skin. Pat the zucchini with paper towel until dry. Add the olive oil and heat. Toss noodles in a frying pan for 1 to 2 minutes until barely softened. Toss noodles in a large bowl with sauce. Sprinkle with Parmesan cheese and add pepper and basil to taste. There is no shortage of delicious keto recipes that can be found online for people of all eating preferences, whether pescatarian or vegetarian. While it doesn't hurt to look up a recipe in a pinch, you may want to avoid this on the fly because it may cause you to rush out and spend more than you intend. Try to plan out your meals in advance and shop accordingly. Having a strict shopping list for keto meal plans is going to help you stay on budget and keep your meals organized. I find that having my meals planned, my shopping list ready, coupons cut out or on my phone helps me to feel in control of my time as much as my meal choices.